I was approached by the beautiful and gorgeous Emma from Chemical Detox here on YouTube to do a collab. She has amazing videos with a lot of quality products and information, and she's gorgeous and really fun to watch. I will link her channel down below if you want to go and check her out. And we decided to do a holiday gluten-free snack collab, so like all the yummy treats that we like to eat and put in our face around the holiday times, or any times really. So I picked two things to share with you guys, and the first one is a baked stuffed apple with like crumbly deliciousness in it. It's really good. You can put ice cream on top of it, or you can just eat it plain. It is so good. And then the second thing is a dairy-free hot chocolate that I've been making pretty much weekly, at least once a week for me and my husband. It is delicious. It is indulgent. You need the very tiniest amount and you are just in chocolate heaven. So stay tuned and I will share those recipes with you. Okay, so here's the things you're going to need to make your delicious gluten-free baked apples. Of course you need a cup of coffee because it's early in the morning and you got to be energized for baking. And then you need a bowl and something to stir things with. I'm going to use a fork. Then you need a cutting board because you're going to cut these apples, and so you need 2 apples. And then you need a knife to cut said apples. And then I don't have an apple core. I used to, but I broke it, so I'm going to use this to core. Then you need, for spices, you need cinnamon, ginger. I put this in here, it's ginger powder, but you don't have to. You can do just cinnamon if you want. I'm probably going to toss in some nutmeg as well. I just didn't pull it out for some reason. And then vanilla. This is my homemade vanilla, so it's not really beer, it's vanilla. And then gluten-free oats, which you can find at most stores. If not, you can find it on iHerb and stuff like that. Then I have some gluten-free flour. I have the no xanthan gum added version, just because I like to add my own sometimes. This is the Bob's Red Mill brand. I really like that one a lot. You're going to need coconut oil or butter. I'm going to use butter for this recipe, but if you are dairy-free or vegan, you can use coconut oil. And then brown sugar, because pour some sugar on me. It ain't delicious without some sugar, right? Right? Those aren't really eyeballs. It's a cookie jar. Okay. Okay, I couldn't find my nutmeg, so I'm going to use just a dash of clove, ground clove, and allspice, because it's all of the spices. Okay, so now we're going to prepare our apples, because that's what you want to do first. So I'm gonna take the apples and just cut off a little bit of the tip, just the tip. So you have an apple that looks like this. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other one. And you can make as many apples as you want. Since there's only me and my husband, I'm just gonna make 2. That's science. Okay, so you're gonna take, I just have a little teaspoon spoon. I'm just gonna core it. Boop. So I cored it pretty cored. I accidentally went too far. It's okay if you go to the bottom. I mean, it's just going to be a little leaky, but you want to try and keep your bottom intact. And so now I'm going to use the same spoon, and I'm just going to scoop out chunks of the apple. This is the part you're going to keep. You want to keep the flesh that's eatable, because we're going to eat it. Okay, so now we have like a little apple bowl, which is pretty cool looking. It smells so good. I think I'm using Gala apples, organic Galas. They're either Gala or Fuji. Those are pretty much the only 2 that I buy. So I'm going to take the guts from the apple and just put them into our bowl, because we're going to mix them up with some yummies and put them back in. I'm going to put our apple in our little dish. Alright, so we're going to core the next one. Okay, so I did pretty good on that one. I didn't go all the way through, so I'm just going to take all of the guts out again. Okay, so here's our second little apple bowl. Let's put our apples up here for now. Okay, so here's the part where you can make some decisions based on your preferences. I don't like squishy fruit, so I am going to mix up all my ingredients and then stuff them and cook them. But if you like more of a apple pie texture, like really soft, really squishy, you can saute these in butter just to get them tender before you reload them into the apple. It's really your preference, but I like them crunchy, so I'm gonna skip that step. Alright, so now we're gonna mix up the rest of our ingredients in this bowl. I'm gonna add some sea salt. I don't think that was in the intro. Ooh, our oven's preheated. Just a couple of spins. Alright, so for gluten-free oats, I'm gonna use about a ½ cup. And you wanna increase it by ½ cup for every 2 apples. Then I'm gonna use 1 tablespoon of gluten-free flour. It's probably like a heaping tablespoon, but whatever. Now we're going to add in our brown sugar. I probably will do, you can kind of customize this as well to your taste. We like really sweet stuff, so I'm going to do 3 tablespoons. The great thing about this recipe is you really can kind of eyeball it. It's kind of up to you. Let's do 4 tablespoons. Gotta be even, 2 for each one. And other than the core ingredients, everything else is pretty much to your liking. All right, so let's spice it up. I'm gonna add some cinnamon. Again, this is to your taste. I would guess this is about 1/2 teaspoon. Some ginger. About 1/2 teaspoon. Oh, that smells good. Some allspice. Just a sprinkly sprinkle. And then I'm going to do a teeny tiny bit of clove. Clove is like very aggressive, so you don't want to do a whole lot. I would say like half of a teaspoon. I can smell the clove. Okay, so now I'm going to mix this up. See how it's looking nice and crumbly and delicious. All right, now I'm going to add in my vanilla. I'm going to say this is about 1 teaspoon. Let me know down below if you want me to do a video on how to make your own vanilla. It's super easy. It's so easy, I can't believe I've been paying so much money for it for all these years. This smells like heaven. Now everything's starting to kind of come together a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to stuff our apples. And all I'm going to do is take a spoon and take our mixture and put it into the apples. Alright, so once you get them pretty full, now I'm going to add the butter. If you're doing coconut oil, I would suggest that you kind of melt it up a little bit and mix it in with the mix, just because it's more liquidy. I'm going to guess this is about 1 tablespoon. I'm just going to kind of stick it randomly on the sides and on top. And as this cooks, it'll kind of drip down into the apple. Butterfingers. So that looks super gross, but it's going to be delicious. Alright, so now that we have the butter on top, I'm going to finish putting the little bit that I have left, just kind of squishing it down on top. Okay, I'll put the exact cook time somewhere up here on the screen. I don't ever use a timer because I just don't trust ovens. Not all ovens are the same. So I'm going to say about 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to put this in your oven, but I would start checking it around like 10 and just kind of eyeballing it. You'll know it's done when all of the skin is nice and squishy and the topping is nice and golden brown. So I'm going to pop those in and then I'll show you what they look like. I just took the apples out. They are a-sizzling. Unfortunately, I had a hole in one of them, so the butter leaked out, but it did pretty good. So when you know they're done is when the skin starts to get wrinkly. These are really hot. But they're bubbly on the top. You can smell like all of the spices and the cinnamon. I cannot wait to put these in my place. Now we're gonna make our next little yummy treat. Okay, so we're gonna make some dairy-free hot chocolate. Me and my husband have this a couple times a week. It's really delicious and easy and dairy-free. So all you're gonna need is some cocoa or cacao, whatever you use is fine. This is some kind of organic cocoa, I don't know. Himalayan sea salt, vanilla, cinnamon, light coconut milk. I get this from Trader Joe's. I just really like the texture of this one. I'm going to throw in some Nutella just because I am a glutton for chocolate. But you don't have to do this. You can do just the cocoa. And then about 1 cup of water. And of course sugar, duh. So I've got some raw sugar right here. That's what we're going to use to sweeten it. So I'm pouring in the coconut milk. I just want you to see how thick this stuff is. It's very thick and creamy, which is delicious. I love it. But that's why I add water, so it has more of a like milk consistency, because it's really, really thick. So that's why the water is needed. So here we go with some ingredients. Okay, hopefully you guys can see what's going on. I don't ever measure stuff. That's probably why I don't do cooking videos usually. But I'm going to try and guesstimate for you so you know what you're doing. I'm going to say that for 1 can of coconut milk, you need about 1/2 cup of sugar. Boop, that much. Then you need cocoa. I was at a cooking store once and I found this 1/8 of a cup scoop. That's what I use for my cocoa. I'm going to guess that it's about 8 tablespoons, but we like it really dark. So again, that's kind of your preference. So that many. And then you can always, if you're nervous about the amount of cocoa, you can always add less, and then As you stir it, I always kind of taste it as I go, and you can tell if you need to add more or not. Homemade vanilla. Probably about a teaspoon. Maybe a little bit more. We like vanilla. We're gonna do some cinnamon. Boop, 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 boop. And then just a sprinkle of sea salt. That's probably about half a teaspoon. Then we're gonna add in our water. And this is probably gonna make 2 to 4 servings, depending on how big your cup is. All right, now we're gonna turn our eye on mine it's like a 7, so like a little bit above medium. And just start stirring. Stirring, stirring, stirring up the cocoa. It tastes so good, it tastes so yum in your tongue. It's pretty much stirring from this point. Now you can tell just by the whisking that this is still pretty thick. So you can add more water if you want it to be a little bit more runny. I like it a little thick, just not quite full capacity. But it's so creamy and so it's really indulgent. And you really need a very tiny cup to satisfy your sugar craving. I stir constantly, or just kind of let it rest for a minute and then stir, just because you do not want it to burn on the bottom. And I have glass. This is what I make it in because it has a little spout, but it burns easy on the bottom. So I stir it the whole time. All right, at this point I'm going to taste it just to make sure that it's got all of the flavors I want. Oh yes. That's just a good way to see if you've got maybe too much sugar in there, not enough salt, maybe it's not chocolatey enough, and then you can adjust it from there. Okay, once you start to see steam kind of rising off the top, that's when I determine that it's hot enough for the Nutella. I always put the Nutella in when it's warm just so it melts quickly. Otherwise you're going to be stirring and beating and trying to get all of it melted. I do about a tablespoon. Boop, boop. This just takes it to like another fat kid level. It is so good. It's really ridiculous. More stirring. All right, I think we're done. It's all incorporated. The steam is coming off the top, so I know it's hot enough. And I'm ready to drink this. So here's our delicious finished product. I'm sorry my dishwasher is loud. But we have our yummy hot chocolate. It has a nice little froth on the top. You can totally add some like whipped cream or I think they make coconut whipped cream if you're completely dairy free. That really kind of ups it a notch. I just didn't have any. And then our yummy apple. This is so good. You could do this for breakfast. It's a great after dinner kind of healthy dessert. It's just spectacular. Look at that crumble. Put the crumble in your mouth. Ooh, I can't wait to put this in my face. I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know down below if you have any recipes that you do every year that are gluten-free and delicious. What's your indulgent snacks? I need to know all the details. And if you guys do decide to try it out, I want to see pictures. Post them on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter and tag me in them because I want to see your creations. So you can follow me on any of those 3 and then we can get in touch with each other that way. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this and don't forget to go and check out Emma's video and I'll see you guys later.